Cage 60 on the 25th of November at the Helsinki Culture House. Live on Viaplay and Cage.fi.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first amateur matchup of the evening. This is an exciting matchup between Verneri Hakkinen and Rasmus Vauhkonen, and both of these guys have a wealth of experience as amateurs. Verneri Hakkinen is, of course, a purple belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, very, very dangerous on the ground, and has some pretty versatile submission game.
How versatile? Well, how about he has hopped on the buggy choke trend, which is actually what he used to defeat Rasmus Vauhkonen the first time they fought.
Okay, a little bit of rematch action here. Let's hope Rasmus is ready for another buggy choke attempt.
I'm sure. I mean, if there's anything that he's learned to defend since then, I'm sure it's a buggy choke.
Yeah,
you don't want to get tapped out by a mean choke, right?
Yeah.
Punaisen kulmauksen ottelija Helsingistä, Rasmus Vauhkonen.
And entering in with a very different demeanor for sure. We have Rasmus Vauhkonen, who is a multiple-time Finnish MMA champ, as well as a 3-time Finnish national judo champion. He's also a 2022 IMF Youth Bronze medalist. And, you know, judo is a base that we see perhaps less often today, but let's not forget that some of the greats have that as their base. How about Yoshihiro Akiyama? Or if you're really old school, if you're a real one, how about Carlo Parisian?
Oh, okay. I was thinking Judo Jean LaBelle.
Oh, well, that's about as old school as you can get.
Carlo Parisian, incredible. You know,
his fight against Diego Sanchez, one of the underrated greats of that era of MMA for sure. And he's a tricky southpaw and out for revenge now against Hakkinen, who defeated him by a 3rd-round buggy choke.
You know, one thing that is of interest to me here is, let's see if we get a tail of the tape. And I'll be able to point out one of the more incredible discrepancies on the card tonight is Verneri Hakkinen is 27 years of age, and Rasmus Vauhkonen only 18 years of age. That's a pretty substantial gap. And of course, you know, the physical maturity that comes with age, you know, we call it on occasion man strength, so to speak. That is a big one to look out for.
Sinisessä kulmauksessa tamperelaisottelija, joka on amatööriurallaan voittanut 9 ja hävinnyt 8 ottelua. Hän edustaa MMA Team 300, Verneri Hakkinen! Punaisessa kulmauksessa GP-kymiä edustava helsinkiläisottelija, joka on amatööriurallaan voittanut 12 ottelua ja hävinnyt vain 5 ottelua, Rasmus Vauhkonen!
Rasmus Vauhkonen, though, looking in great shape, and of course, same with Verneri Hakkinen. But you can tell that there's a bit of a muscular discrepancy between the two, and not in favor of Verneri Hakkinen, which is perhaps what I would have expected. But very, very interesting matchup here. Both of these guys have a wealth of experience. I think both 17 fights a pop. So let's see what exactly happens here. Let's see if Verneri Hakkinen is able to replicate his previous performance.
And there's always an interesting aspect of rematches as well, because a lot of people, you know, some at least would say that the onus is on the winner to establish themselves as the rightful winner, because they've already done it. Can we do something new? Can we do something more impressive? They've shown it once. Can we show something better the other time around? Because they're almost expecting the guy who lost first time. He knows what mistakes he made. So the question is, what new tools has Hakkinen added to his toolbox? So far, an exchange of kicks there from both fighters. An almost bladed stance there from Vauhkonen.
Yeah, both guys fighting very side-on rather than squared up. Good outside leg kick by Vauhkonen.
And of course, when it's southpaw versus orthodox, it does open up the rear kick for both fighters.
Yeah, unfortunately for the orthodox fighter, yours is the liver, which is exposed, and that is, you know, one of the prime targets for that open side kick.
And of course, if you're a southpaw fighter, your opponent's straight right as you throw the jab is always a danger as well. Oh, look there, we saw a couple right hands there from Hakkinen. And expect Hakkinen to keep his cool because he works as a fireman. He's actually not the only fireman on the card here tonight, believe it or not.
Yeah, I imagine that's a occupation that is actually pretty popular as a secondary one for mixed martial arts fighters. You know, you get a pretty decent amount of time to train, from what I gather, because of the shift scheduling, and of course it's very physical work, very mentally demanding work. All of that kind of helps. You know, one thing that stands out to me is Vauhkonen, you know, has been able to take the center of the cage for a solid majority of this fight thus far, and to establish his own pace here. It's good to see.
Yeah, so far a bit of a feeling out process, or finding their rhythm, finding their distance. Neither fighter has really landed a solid power shot. I think one could make an argument that perhaps the kick to the body from Hakkinen was the most powerful so far in the first round.
1 minute.
Kick blocked there from Hakkinen. Oh, but he ate a right hand there.
Vauhkonen looks good, fluid, chins up a little high for both of these guys, but
yeah, we do know that Hakkinen is an experienced grappler. After all, he got the bronze medal in the 2018 no-gi Finnish BJJ championships, as well as in the subsequent year. And he does hold a round 2 rear naked choke victory over Hamadara, who we will see later on tonight.
yeah, Hamadara competing as a professional for, I believe, the 11th time tonight? Or 9th time tonight.
9th time.
Excuse me. My apologies. 10 seconds remain. Oh, and a big head kick lands for Vauhkonen.
And I like that, you know, there was no tell or choreographing with that high kick. Pretty much the only kicks that he threw were to the legs or to the lower half of his torso, and then he just went high. So he established a rhythm, then broke that rhythm just towards the end of the first round. That's very, very nice stuff.
And if you're wondering why exactly is that the case, that he's able to throw an excellent high kick with phenomenal technique and no telegraphing, it's because the man there in his corner is the legendary Anton Kuivanen.
Yeah. Great company to keep.
Lots of center control of the cage for Rasmus Vauhkonen. And, you know, good movement from both fighters, but I would say Vauhkonen on the stool looks a bit more fresh to me.
I'm inclined to agree.
Seconds out.
Just body language, and just he's smiling a lot more. He just seems fresh. He got right back off of the stool.
Confidence, energy, definitely, at least from my perspective, with Rasmus Vauhkonen.
Here we go, second round.
You ready? Ready? Round 2.
Sweden's Mattias Bulten-Sjödén in charge of the action here. Nice inside kick to start things off. Oh, but a little
solid
kick-punch combination there for Hakkinen.
Yeah, and both from that right side, which is, nuts. Oh, you see it again. I was about to say you don't see it so often. But that right kick, right hand.
And a lot of the times, like you said, you don't really see the kick to punch combination, but it's almost like Hakkinen is one of his most successful combinations so far.
Yeah, but unfortunately, if you go back to that well too often, you're setting yourself up for a pretty solid counter.
I don't like the way that Hakkinen was reaching with that right hand. I mean, his opponent didn't exploit it this time around, but if he continues reaching like that, he may very well find himself eating a high kick.
Yeah, that's not a flavor you want.
Yeah.
Oh, solid kick to deliver there from Hakkinen. Hakkinen's moving a bit better here, but gets tagged.
And again, it is Vauhkonen pressing the action, taking the center of a cage. He does have some redness around the nose, but doesn't seem to be impeding his performance the least.
Vauhkonen keeps licking his lips, which, I mean, that's a very unfortunate way to bite the hell out of your tongue if you get bopped at the same time. I would avoid that one. That's the extent of my technical advice.
Right hand landed there for Hakkinen, and here he's got the clinch. He's got his hands connected together, but takedown defense holding up for Vauhkonen.
Yeah, specifically from the clinch positions like this, Vauhkonen, at least on paper, should have the superior, grappling in that regard. In terms of this is often where you see judo fights taking place.
But that's because if you look at sort of just grappling in BJJ, Hakkinen has the better credentials. But then again, when it comes to judo, obviously there's Vauhkonen, who is the more experienced fighter. So it's kind of judo versus BJJ submission grappling sort of. Oh, a little bit high there, ends up on the bottom. This Hakkinen got a little over-eager.
He might be comfortable in that sort of position, though, considering his BJJ credentials.
Okay, manages to get up and avoided, most of the hard shots, getting back up. Final 10 seconds.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're Hakkinen, you want to be pulling the trigger a bit more here.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. He just doesn't look quite as comfortable in these striking exchanges. And the body language here, I think, is very telling as well.
For me, I feel like Hakkinen almost doesn't really seem to be really leaning into his power. I feel like I've not seen any shot from him that I felt like he was throwing in full intent. I'm no expert, but that's my read there. That's overhand into a kind of into a clinch, and then takes the back. Attempts to go for perhaps an armbar, goes over the top. Didn't particularly have much success there because, of course, he ended up on the bottom, and at least optically, that's not particularly good for the judges.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if Vauhkonen is ahead 2 rounds and en route to winning the rematch.
Definitely a bright future for Rasmus Vauhkonen one way or another. Just 18 years of age, but really you can see the fluidity in his movement here. Yeah, just exceptional. A little show of affection.
Yeah.
Inside leg kick from Vauhkonen.
Nice left hand lands there from Vauhkonen.
And that left leg of Hakkinen looks a bit red to me. Maybe no, the inside of that left leg.
Yeah, I think you're onto something here, Steve. And I wonder if perhaps Vauhkonen is starting to make the read of the right kick, right punch combination. So if you ever had another one of those overhand swings, it's almost looks like something you see from a baseball pitcher.
Yeah, it's one thing to make the read, it's another to be able to actually do something with that. So that's what I think, you know, when you're younger and you're less experienced, not than the competition, but I mean less experienced than you will be, that's something that maybe doesn't happen so often. You might see what you need to do, you might see an opening, but you might just not feel comfortable pulling the trigger and countering in those moments. I would love to see that from Vauhkonen, because I almost guarantee you that Hakkinen is going to go for that again. Low blow.
So far, I mean, Vauhkonen looking good. He defended that previous takedown very, very well.
Oh, quick cup check. Ouch.
And he did land a left hand a little bit earlier as well, but snapped back Hakkinen's head.
Two touch gloves, and once again, Vauhkonen goes to work on that lead leg. He's able to move, and he just peppered that liver once again. Oh, eats an inside leg kick, returns fire. Pops that head back again with the jab. Not bad. Whoa.
Great sprawl.
Yeah.
And so far, Vauhkonen 100% takedown defense. And he still seems to be the quicker, fresher fighter as well. There's a little bit more pop to his step in general.
1 minute.
Quite evenly matched, very similar physiques here. But I would agree with you that Vauhkonen is coming out ahead here. Oh, beats him to the punch there with a good left hand. Big overhand right from Hakkinen. Not much to... Oh, that hurt him.
Oh, yeah.
That liver kick really, really hurt him.
He's got a great poker face. I don't know if Vauhkonen knows how hurt Hakkinen really is.
I'm not 100% sure, but I could... In that brief moment, that flash, you could see he was hurt.
Yeah, he was kind of keeling over just a little bit, but great poker face.
Yeah, switches stance, though, to try and make sure that his liver is not exposed. However, you know, there's a teep kick there. Can hit that liver again, but not much time to do it. There you have it. Rasmus Vauhkonen versus Verneri. Hakkinen goes the distance. And at least on my card, I think Rasmus Vauhkonen takes that. And, you know, one of the more exciting moments of this fight was that liver kick that really, really got a response. However brief, it did get that response from Verneri Hakkinen. Excellent performance from Rasmus Vauhkonen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, talk about coming back in style. Here's some of those highlights.
Again, that right kick followed by the right hand from Verneri Hakkinen, and then Rasmus at the center of the cage, evading and returning fire pretty consistently. Here we have that boom, liver kick. Oh, just a bit of a reaction and then a second reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I mean, a great learning experience for Vauhkonen going forward at just 18 years old.
Yeah, Vauhkonen has a very bright future ahead of him.
Hyvä yleistavanilla ensimmäinen amatööriottelu otellaan täyteen aikaan. Voittaja kaikin tuomariäänin. Rasmus Vauhkonen!
No surprise there. Rasmus Vauhkonen wins the rematch and does so in emphatic fashion. That kick to the liver really was the exclamation point at the end of his performance.
Yeah, very solid performance. It showcases good fundamentals, and you know that liver kick alone really, really made it feel like he is kind of piecing together very good offensive weapons. Excellent work from both men.
Cage 60 on the 25th of November at the Helsinki Culture House. Live on Viaplay and Cage.fi.